Made it to the best part, the discussion section. Remember that discussion section summarizes what the authors found, contextualizes it within a larger body of research, talks about what contributions were there. They speculate about some bigger picture questions, and then we'll discuss limitations and opportunities for future research. So you're going to need to find all these things. There's some extra videos on doing all of these things. Discussion section's always going to be fun. So they're going to open up and they're going to first talk about the findings. So although study hypotheses were only partially supported, the findings do have implications for these different theories. When tweens in the study viewed a brief training video, they perceived greater selling intent of a subsequent sponsored unboxing video relative to a non-sponsored. Yet their perceptions of the informative intent behind both videos didn't differ. Moreover, they considered the selling and informative intent of an unboxing video with no explicit cues as similar to both the sponsored and non-sponsored. So it's okay. Sometimes our hypotheses aren't supported. Now they're going to try to explain to us what might have happened. Counter to predictions, perceiving a selling intent was associated with reduced product recall. This may reflect the type of defensive processing stipulated by this model. Moreover, the training video made statements such as, sometimes it could be tough to know the difference between these. It's not fun to be fooled, which could have triggered negative affective responses in addition to more conceptual advertising literacy. In line with schema theory, tweens remembered more health information, thus the training video may have helped activate something. Taken together, these findings suggest that tweens may develop a particular schema for unboxing and influencer-style content. Maybe. Notably, 92% of the sample reported being YouTube videos, suggesting familiarity with these style of videos. Although, I'd argue, no offense to these authors, that kids watching YouTube doesn't necessarily mean they see unboxing videos. Tweens and adolescents likely have a more nuanced schema for these types of native advertisement. Unboxing videos with a specific schema would make sense. So then they say here, future research should examine similar content against different formats. Findings also uncovered interesting mediation. I've talked about this. And then here's some links to other research. Others have found this. The interest is, so here's a future research prediction, whether teams have perceived similarly high rates of informational intent. Some prior studies, there's a link to prior studies. Some scholars believe, so link to prior work. Practical implications. Not every journal does this, but Journal of Children Media does. That makes some recommendations for teachers and people that work with kids in media, etc. So that's nice. And then limitations. They have their own section. So make sure that you are noticing these and remember that future research tasks are often linked to limitations. So sample recruited from online panel might not be representative. Remember, first one, our sample sucks. Typical. Most of them were familiar with YouTube. Maybe kids less familiar with YouTube would feel differently. Possible. Recruitment and data collection were conducted online. So prohibiting verification of treatment fidelity. So basically they're saying this wasn't in a lab, so who knows what was going on. Only one set of stimuli was used to test hypotheses. They might not extend to posting by more well-known people. Health focus might be different from toys. Future research should confirm with other products. Mean scores were fairly high across key variables. So there was a ceiling effect. Participants may have responded in socially desirable ways. Oh, ceiling effect. So this is basically everyone's so clustered near the top, you can't really measure much in terms of variation. Social desirability, we've talked about before. So maybe these older kids already knew about plaque and teeth enamel, so there's nothing for them to learn. There's a future research statement here. So when you are looking around in a discussion section, you're going to be looking for supports, contrary, extends to look for current findings, limitations. This particular journal and these particular authors had their own limitation section. Several limitations, so they were pretty easy to find. The authors list them out. Future research, they make that big list, so that's cool. And then, remember, at the end, we want to be able to summarize the findings. Not a bunch of details, just like what would you tell a friend, explaining the big takeaway. And so you want to look up in the abstract for that and in the discussion section.